Well, thank you very much, and we have to continue now with the next presentation. And this is about work package 5. It's networking and training in the field of intestinal microbiomics. And the presenters are very well known. It's Eva Untersmayr and Peter Abuja. Eva is a professor at the Institute of Pathophysiology and Allergy Research at the University of Vienna, local. And Peter Abuja is working at the Research Institute of Pathology at the University of Graz, also here in Austria. Eva.
Thank you, Rudi, for the introduction. And we will make our best to save a bit of time for the next speakers. Now it's all about networking and training. And I would like to take you with us a bit on a journey, where we started from, what are the achieved goals, and we especially would like to take a little future outlook into the future perspectives, what is actually coming from this knowledge platform. So therefore, we will start with the goals, then we will go to the achievements, and in the end, we will always have a little bit of an outlook where we could go to together as a research community. The goals of our work package were quite clear. First of all, publicity. I mean, networking, training. We also have to reach out to our colleagues who are not part of the knowledge platform. Of course, we also had to link to other Intestinal Microbiome projects. The identification of stakeholders is essential, and we have to disseminate the knowledge that we have generated during this time. And of course, we had to liaise with international and European initiatives. And for this, you need a platform. And the platform I would like to mention here is the homepage that we have. It looks, I think, quite nice, and I really would like to acknowledge here again my co-worker Larissa, because she used her talent in designing and established something which I think is quite user-friendly, to have a look on the knowledge platform, which is a huge project. You have to consider that there are so many partners working on different fields, and this needs to be represented. So what is always important is the output, knowledge platform publications. You already heard from the last presentations, there's quite a number of publications that are well represented on the homepage, so you're very welcome to check that there. Then, of course, we need to talk about the project itself. It's important to know what it is all about, but it's also important to show what deliverables we have defined and whether we were able to reach this goal. And last but not least, also the partners should be well represented. And there it's the difficulty. We have partners from different universities, from different countries. So there is an overview related to the countries, but there's also a full link where you can get information about the knowledge and about the resources that are available at each institution. And it's important that this, and this brings me to the outlook into the future, it's sustained. So it should be available even after the finish of this project. And therefore, I really would like to thank Yildau and her team, because they promised that they will keep this homepage running. And I think this is very important for the future. Now we come to the networking, and this means that I hand over to Peter, who is expert in networking and who will take over the presentation from here.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Now, networking, I mean, you know, as you're sitting here, you are already constituting a huge network. But this does not mean this is a network that has a long lifetime in the future, because you will go away, and some of you will stay in contact, some of you collaborate anyway. So what the idea actually of this knowledge platform could be that it could be a germination point for a future, maybe, research infrastructure. And that means that we have to make a sustained effort and look into the future what of this knowledge platform could become. And therefore, oops, here. we thought it would be a good idea to foresee the necessities for a future research infrastructure that is defining the topic and the resources in a research infrastructure. And already at the beginning of the project, we decided on 3 major thematic working groups, which were thought as a horizontal link between the groups, grouping them around important topics. This does not mean, of course, that these topics, early life, healthy aging, and health and disease, are the only topics in microbiome research, but this is a starting point. And together with these working groups, an inventory of related scientific knowledge and resources should be established, because this is what a future research infrastructure could offer. That means information and scientific knowledge and resources, to so geht's zurück. An inventory of scientific knowledge and resources related to each of these working group topics, and of course also to start a link that allows this network comprising most of the European research community in microbiome research, because although we are quite a lot of groups, we are probably not representing all of Europe in this case, and the research infrastructure is always thought to be a single entity in Europe, so there cannot be 2 research infrastructures on the same topic in Europe. That means also that we need to define our topics and our resources in such a way that we can integrate into the already existing S3 biomedical science research infrastructures. And the thematic work groups should also define their stakeholders that they think they are essential. This is maybe something that changes over time, maybe quite rapidly, but it is a starting point. And there is one thing I will talk a bit more later. We should explore how the concept of expert centers, which has originally been developed in BBMRI regarding biobanks and the use of human biological samples, could be adapted to the microbiome field. This inventory of European and international activities was created, so this will change over time, and therefore it is quite good that this homepage will survive the project and will be updated, hopefully. And there was one thing which is probably also quite important in light of network building, although it doesn't look at first sight like that. The Medical University of Graz was chairing a working group of the European Normalization Center, the CEN, to create a diagnostic standard for microbiome research. In the morning, I've heard André Gessner reporting about the difficulties and importance of standardization. I should mention, for the sake of time, only briefly, that the standard is actually not a standard operation procedure or a protocol that is perfect and guaranteed to work. It's rather a minimal set of conditions that have to be met in order to allow obtaining results that are not varying too much. As André Gessner said this morning, we have still a long way to go, but this is the first step. And it's a diagnostic standard because the standardization is actually particularly important in diagnostics, because if wrong results occur, it can even mean the death of the patient, and this is something that is unacceptable. Why is this a possibility for networking throughout Europe? Because a standard, a European standard, is a standard that every institution that gets an accreditation for laboratory diagnostics, for instance, has to adhere to. That means this is a process. A standard is it's a document actually that allows that all activities in this respect go together within Europe. that's actually something that was also a topic of this work package, that we should integrate this knowledge platform as a starting point for a future microbiome research infrastructure within the European research infrastructure landscape. This means actually that microbiome research needs to carve out a well-defined research field, while it must respect the competences of other research infrastructures, because otherwise there will be a problem of the S3 to accept such a proposal on the S3 roadmap. There are several life science research infrastructures identified that could be of importance for microbiome research infrastructure. They are listed here. There is also a deliverable report on that. Of course, this list changes and expands every year, but again, this is a starting point for further progress towards such a research infrastructure. We have also created an inventory of relevant stakeholders as a starting point, and detailed stakeholder engagement at the level of this knowledge platform is probably too early, because we still have not defined precisely what a future research infrastructure can really offer. We have 3 working groups. That's quite a good thing, but it's not everything, and this will need further discussion. And this brings me to something that is linked to the capabilities of an expert of a research infrastructure. BBMRI has designed a decade ago that an expert center should allow and facilitate research with human biological samples, overcoming ethical and legal problems. This is something which also affects microbiome research, of course, and the general idea of an expert center, however, was to turn valuable samples that are limited to high-quality data. And here you come back to standards again. This can only be the case if you have an agreed procedure that is state-of-the-art and gives the best possible result at every time, and documents at every time where a sample is transformed into data what these data are really good for. That means it defines the fitness for purpose, so that the data can in the future be reused for further research without that one has to ask himself the question, can I use this data, or do I compromise my study with that? This this expert center concept also involves that we need reference standards, maybe a standard microbiome, that we need standards in procedural terms, and we need this for a quality management. Expert centers are also in BBMRI expected to do ring trials, which is already been reported this morning, and probably the diversity of microbiome research will not require a single type of expert centers, but a network of diverse expert centers within a research infrastructure which can offer certain services. This is something that needs to be discussed in the future, because I think there are still ethical problems with using samples and data also in microbiome research, which can be solved by an expert center. Okay, and I have talked already too much, I suppose. So it's Eva again, thank you.
So I take over with the education and training, and I promise again I'll be quick. We have created an inventory. This is also available, the information on the homepage, and I would like to ask you all, because training is also something that is developing. Whenever you have new techniques available, please also publish them on our knowledge platform homepage. And this brings me to the special issue, which I think is one of the outcomes which are important to mention from our knowledge platform. It was published in Nutrients. Together, Peter and me, we were the co-editors, and we have 20 papers published so far. And I think this is a real big success. You see that the topic is important. We were even contacted that we should go on with this initiative. We have published articles, so full articles, research articles, and concept articles. We have published review articles, systematic review analysis, narrative reviews, and also the concept paper that Peter already mentioned. And the question is this a sustainable output? Well, it is, because all publications are published open access. This was very important for us to choose a journal where you can access all the published articles freely. And we are currently also evaluating the possibility of transforming this special issue into a collection, which will be continuous. So we hope that we will have the possibility within the same topic to continue the collection of articles related to our interest. Then the final meeting. We are all here together. It's very nice. We have this busy agenda. I have to hurry on. I see already Rudy looking at me. Again, I would like to thank Larissa. Without her help, I would not have managed the past month. And again, the question, is this a sustainable meeting? Will we have the data available? Yes, there is recording ongoing. You have seen all the technicians here who support us. So these presentations will be available for members, and we will try to make the keynote lectures available for the public. But of course, we have to discuss this with our keynote lecturers, but they will all be available on the Knowledge Platform homepage. And we also reach out to the public. Tomorrow in the afternoon from 4 to 6, we are in Vienna, so it will be a German science cafe about gut health and the microbiome. And we have invited patients' organization, and we hope that a lot of people will join us. And this is also sustainable because we are also going to record it, and we are going to make it available for the public for sure. Thank you very much for your attention, and if there's still some time, you can ask questions to Peter and me.
So thank you very much, Eva and Peter, for this very nice presentation of your efforts and your success, I must say. And